Hey guys, I wanted to show you some of the beautiful blooms in my garden today. It's a little bit overcast, but I think that's a good time to film. And these colors are very saturated. But here I have some tall bearded iris, just a mixed bag. I got these flowers as tubers on eBay about 3 years ago. They seem to really love this spot. Let me zoom in here a little bit, show you how beautiful these are. Give you a close-up. Even the buds are spectacular. They're so pretty. I've got a bright yellow one in the back. And I've got some periwinkle blue ones over here. Just beautiful. As you can see, my pansies are still throwing out a few blooms. But once it heats up, they're gonna die back. Be nice if they reseed themselves. But what you're seeing here are spaghetti squash, which I've planted. But I'm just thrilled with these blooms. Up on the hill in front of the polytunnel, I have some beautiful Siberian iris just starting to bloom. We still have a lot of buds up toward the middle areas, but they are just such a pretty purple. And they're smaller than the bearded iris. These have been here for about a decade, I'd say. And last year I did not get great blooms. This year, something about the weather must have been better. And I did also make an effort to thin them out. So maybe that did the trick. But I think very shortly we're gonna have half a hill here of these beautiful blooms. Got a lot more buds toward the middle there. So I'm just thrilled with this display, guys. Some of my older green onions are blooming. They're gonna put out some seed, I think, but they're pretty. All allium blooms are just beautiful. So I have some containers of those. This container is looking a little worse for wear, but it's still a beautiful bloom. This is a pretty little vignette. I've got some columbine in the front and some sage blooming in the back. I do have some lavender here, but it's just starting to bud up. You can see the buds there. But here's a closer look at these columbine. Some people call them Aquilegia. I think that might be the Latin name. They are just a gorgeous color. And back here, we have some sage blooms. Aren't they gorgeous? By the way, this is right next to the pink garden. So named because of the pink furniture. Got some beautiful hostas. But these sage blooms are just glorious. Just a very pale lavender. Very graceful. And I have a small stand here of self-seeded viola. Johnny Jump-Ups. These are all over my garden. I got a 6-pack probably last year and they just seed so well. So some of my containers, they just come back right on their own. I think they're so pretty. Here's another angle of these gorgeous sage blooms. Sometimes herbs and vegetables can have the prettiest blooms on them. That's why I like to have a mix in my garden. Here's an aerial view of the tall bearded iris. And we have the Nellie Moser clematis in the background. Coming up to the rustic garden bed, we have some columbine, or otherwise known as Aquilegia, kind of floating over the top of a whole stand of Sweet William. This is Sweet William Dianthus. Let me show you at the end too. We have another stand of it over here. Looking just amazing. They're so beautiful. And guys, these self-seed themselves. And they drop seed. The following year they're just plants, and then the second year they bloom. Here you can see in the middle here, these are all first year plants. But these are the blooms from the older 2-year-old plants. Aren't they spectacular, guys? These are so reliable. And gosh, I hardly do a thing for them. I like having these mixed varieties. This is just how it came in the seed package. Kind of mixed Sweet William. But the nice thing about having a Sweet William mix is it gives you several weeks of blooms. And everything along here is waiting to get bigger. I have more Sweet William here at the end. And one of my salvias is magnificent. I'm forgiving the other two for being kind of puny this year, but they were crowded out by the oregano, which has been relocated. But look how pretty it will be when all of these salvia bloom. They're a bright purple, and the pollinators adore salvia. Let me span over here. I can't sing enough praises about this Sweet William. It's really a spectacular display. I'm particularly partial for the jewel tone, darker colors. And even before they bloom, they're pretty. They have these green bloom heads. And I think those are even gorgeous. So I feel very rich in blooms here, guys. I'm really enjoying the spring blooms. Let me show you my marigold seedlings back here in the bed, which I had to refurbish the soil. I had to take out a lot of roots in here, so I've planted it very thickly. And one of the things I planted, which I'm in love with, is this flame marigold. And I grew them from seed. It's very easy. There's a lot more blooms on these plants. This is just the first hurrah. So I'm hoping these get nice and bushy, but they just have a gorgeous flower. Hope you can see the detail on that. They're beautiful. And again, it's very jewel toned. So those are just doing fantastic. These blooms are so bright, you can even see them from a distance. I'm really happy with how much time I've had to work on this bed this year. And all of the alyssum around my garden deserves a standing ovation. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this will die back once the heat of the summer rolls in, but even though it will die back, it will reseed itself first, and I shall see it again sprout up for the fall season. I just love this easy, wonderful plant. Here's a little more delicate display here, and there's some purple alyssum mixed in, but it has done so well, as have the Johnny Jump Up violas. And here is the cutest little bunny. Comes out in the evenings for dinner. So cute. I have them hopping all throughout my garden. And they're really enjoying the clover in the grass. I don't do any weed control. I think this little baby is going to be the highlight of my bloom video. so darling. And I think we'll finish here with these Johnny Jump Up violas. They're surrounding this little baby topiary, and I love how that looks. There's two different kinds. So beautiful. And again, these were just they seeded themselves. How easy is that? So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you're enjoying the blooms in your garden. Let me know down below what's blooming where you are. I'll see you next time.